Here's a stat that should make every single e-commerce brand owner and marketer uncomfortable. 70% of consumers now believe that business leaders purposely mislead the public. 70%. That's from the 2025 Edelman Trust Barometer, one of the largest global studies on consumer trust. So when someone lands on your site for the very first time and they're looking for your product page, your pricing, your claims, they're not taking any of it at face value. They're skeptical, they're comparing, they're checking reviews, and if anything feels off, they're gone. Your traffic isn't the problem, your trust is the problem. And here's what makes this so painful for e-commerce brands specifically. You're spending lots of money to get people to your website through ads, through SEO, through email marketing, through influencers. And then you're losing them at the finish line because your site doesn't make them feel confident enough to buy from you. They don't trust the product photos because they've been burned before. They don't trust the pricing because they don't understand why it costs what it costs. And they don't trust the reviews because half of the internet is fake. They definitely don't trust your brand's claims because every brand says the exact same thing. Premium quality, best in class, you'll love it. Meanwhile, consumers are more cautious with their money than they have ever been in years. Economic anxiety is real. People are cutting unnecessary spending and only buying from brands that feel like a safe bet. So if your conversion rate is stuck or declining, before you blame your ad creative or your landing page, ask yourself this: does my brand actually feel trustworthy to a first-time visitor? I'm Greg Shuey, and I run an e-commerce search marketing agency called Stryde. We work with direct-to-consumer brands doing 1 to 15 million a year in revenue. And over the last year, I've been digging deep into consumer research, specifically the Edelman Trust Barometer, trying to understand what is actually driving purchase decisions right now. And here's what I found. The first shift: transparency is now a conversion driver. Shoppers are fact-checking brands before they ever buy. They're reading reviews, they're comparing competitors, they're looking for proof that you're being honest with them. Generic product descriptions and polished marketing language that used to work actually works against you now because they feel like you might be hiding something from them. The brands that are winning are the brands who are being radically transparent. That means honest pricing breakdowns. Show people exactly what they're paying for: materials, labor, shipping, tariff costs. It means real customer photos and videos on your product pages, not just studio shots. It means behind the scenes content that shows the actual humans behind your brand. Everlane built an entire brand around this, and they call it radical transparency. They show the exact cost breakdown of every single product, and it works because it removes the guesswork from the buyer. The customer doesn't have to wonder if they're getting ripped off. That alone removes a massive friction point. The second shift: consumers are buying on value, not on luxury. With economic uncertainty at an all-time high, people are spending their hard-earned money more carefully. They're prioritizing durability, cost savings, and flexible payment options over status or brand name. So your messaging needs to shift from leading with premium or luxury to leading with value. Show them the cost per use. Offer buy now, pay later options. Create bundles that increase perceived savings. Help people justify the purchase to themselves because that's what they need right now. Patagonia does this brilliantly. They position their products as long-term investments. More expensive up front, but cheaper per year than disposable alternatives. That framing turns a high price point into a smart decision. The third shift, and this one is a massive one: consumers trust other people more than they trust your brand. Can you believe that? Traditional advertising is losing credibility fast. Shoppers want real experiences from real people. That means reviews, user-generated content, real influencer endorsements from people who actually use the product that you are selling, not a polished ad campaign. If your product pages are still just using studio photography and copywriter descriptions, you're leaving trust on the table. The brands who are seeing the highest conversion rate right now are the ones flooding their pages with real user-generated content. I'm talking real customer photos, real video reviews, reviews, befores and afters. Glossier is probably the best example of this. They built their entire brand on user-generated content. So if you want a great case study, go check them out. They use real customers, real skin, real results. And it works because it feels authentic in a way that traditional marketing just can't replicate anymore today. Run a campaign that incentivizes UGC. Share your experience and get 10% off. Feature it on your product pages, in your emails, in your ads, and let your customers sell for you. The fourth shift is social and ethical responsibility is no longer optional. 61% of consumers feel the system favors the wealthy. Young buyers especially expect brands to take a stand on issues they care about. These are sustainability, ethical labor, community impact, and they reward brands that follow through on these things. But here's the key. It has to be authentic. Consumers can spot performance activism immediately. So if you're going to talk about sustainability, you better be able to back it up with specifics and real proof. This is sustainable packaging, ethical sourcing, measurable impact. Bombas does this incredibly well. They donate a pair of socks for every single purchase, and they communicate that consistently across every single touch point along the buyer journey. It's simple, it's real, and it reinforces brand loyalty every single time someone buys. Fifth shift, AI and automation can backfire without humanization. AI-powered product recommendations, chatbots, personalized emails, all of that can improve the shopper experience. But if your brand starts to feel like an automated machine, you lose the human connection that actually builds trust. The answer isn't to avoid AI. I mean, this is the world that we live in today. It is to pair it with real human touch points. So use your AI to help with personalization. These are product quizzes, smart recommendations, behavior-based emails, but make sure your customer support includes actual humans. Make sure your brand voice still sounds like a person and not like a template. Warby Parker gets this right. They use AI-driven virtual try-on tools, but when you need help, you actually talk to a real human being. That balance is what is going to build long-term loyalty, repeat purchasers, and insane customer lifetime value for your business. So here's the bottom line. In 2026, the e-commerce brands that grow won't be the ones with the biggest ad budgets. It's just not going to happen. They're going to be the ones that earn the most trust, transparency, value-driven messaging, real social proof, authentic purchase, human connection. That's the playbook. If you want help building a marketing strategy that drives trust and revenue, I'll drop a link in the description where you can request a free marketing plan. We'll take a look at what's working, what's not working, and where the biggest opportunities are for your business. If you found this useful, hit the subscribe button. I'm putting out content every week to help e-commerce brands grow smarter and faster. See you on the next one.